Hello and welcome back to Exothermic Plays Games, a channel where I necessarily rank unnecessarily silly things, mostly involving video games. So today I am finally wrapping up all of this stuff I've been doing. I've uploaded 11 videos in a row now. Well, almost in a row. There's a couple others. But of covering all of the different things to do in the Hearthstone StarCraft mini expansion. And so, without further ado, I'm ready to kind of dump into talking about the thing as a whole and my rankings for all of the classes. Now, if you are just jumping into this, maybe you don't care about the Hearthstone, but you like the ranking I've been doing with all of my stuff. The way this works is that each faction in StarCraft, the three factions, Zerg, Protoss, Terran, are assigned to a number of classes. So if we look at Zerg, for example, this like symbol here, this like 3 whatever Sharingan looking thing, that means that it is used, it's a multi-class card. It can be used in several classes. So Zerg is Death Knight, Hunter, Warlock, and Demon Hunter. And everything with this symbol can be used in everything that is all 4 of those classes. But then they have specific cards exclusive to each class that don't have that symbol. So Death Knight, for example, has Baneling, Barrage, Infestor, and Viper. Those are exclusive to them. I'm going to get into all of that in a moment, but I just want to, as a refresher, Protoss is Druid, Mage, Priest, Rogue, and then that leaves Terran with Paladin, Shaman, and Warrior. So I'm gonna, talk about individual cards, and if you want to see gameplay, obviously I have 11 videos, like 40 minutes to an hour-ish each of gameplay, and you can check out what I did with all of those classes. But I just want to talk about the classes themselves. I want to talk about the strategies and the fantasy of playing StarCraft in a card game form in Hearthstone. So, without further ado, the lowest ranked one of all of the classes for me was, this isn't to say that I don't like the deck or I don't like the class. I just didn't like how it handled StarCraft. So, is Terran, that's several things. I liked Terran actually. Is Shaman. So, number 11 is Shaman. Just to kind of jump into the deck that I had here, I had the plan of, this is a slightly different version than what you saw in the video. You see me kind of trim it down and edit it at the end of that. But the idea was I really wanted to build around Siege Tank. So Battlecry, deal 10 damage to a random enemy minion. And then, but if you've launched a starship this game, which is a thing, here we go. So when a starship piece dies, basically it takes up a spot on the map, on the board, excuse me, and then you can spend mana to launch it. And there's ways to interact with the SCV, makes it cost less. There's a number of things about starships. You have a bunch of ways to get all of these effects, and then they'll do things when they're launched too, and then the stats are additive, and they can be big and scary and stuff. But the important thing here is not the starships. It is the siege tank. So if you've launched a starship this game, it doesn't matter if it was good or bad or whatever, just if you launched one, you instead have Battlecry deal 10 damage to a random enemy minion, excess damage hits the enemy hero. And so the idea is that this blows the hell up out of anything. And then I have various ways to copy battle cries and do them again and repeat. So like I can like Murmuring Elemental Siege Tank, shoot 2 of your guys for 10, but you'll actually take like 15. I can, and then Shudderwalk repeats all battle cries. The idea of this deck I felt was very fun and very cool. And I had other battle cries to just like things that are battle cry oriented to kind of lean into having that synergy. The idea of the deck was fine. That wasn't my issue with it. My issue was that, it was very difficult to have enough stuff for caring about starships while also caring about battle cries when so few of the Shaman starships. Keep in mind that for any of the Terran classes, by design, this is clever. I like this. By design, they are not starship classes. So all of their starships come from Terran. The other classes get starships natively, but these 3 did not. And so what is this? Tradable, destroy an enemy starship or starship piece. Oh yeah, that thing's not, that doesn't matter. So the other starships pieces, like dimensional core, Arcanite defense crystal, the Exodar, this stuff, there is not room to do. And they're also, notice, they're not battle cries. Whereas and we'll get to the others. In the other Terran ones, they have meaningful battle cries from starships, because that's just part of their Terran cards. Missile pod? It does not matter, man. Missile pod does not matter. Like, 1 damage to all enemies is fine if you're playing against, like, a super aggro deck. That's actually great. But most of the time, missile pod's gonna suck. And when your starship kind of sucks, and your core thing cares about you launching a starship, it's difficult to feel like you're doing anything meaningful while also having the room to do stuff. So, like, I had to dilute the deck by playing Prince Renathal originally, and to play these to have meaningful starships, which I decided maybe I didn't need to. I don't know. But regardless, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, either you don't do starships well, in which case that's the main mechanic for Terrans, or you don't do, like, the cool card well, the siege tank, because it's hard to get enough starships, or it's hard to get, like, copying the triggers and doing stuff with that. Maybe I'm just doing this wrong, I don't know, but Shaman Terran was the worst deck building hurdle for me, and I also felt like the lock on, this is not an interesting, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, Hunter's Mark is solid and this has upside. Like, the card is fine, but this is not the kind of Terran gameplay that I'm, like, looking for. Like, this doesn't feel, for starters, the Cyclone is, like, the most boring unit that Terran makes. And so having a spell focused on the Cyclone is kind of whatever. I don't really like Missile Pod. I don't like Lock On. I love Siege Tank, but those are some weak class-specific things. So number 10 next is, where'd it go? Is Warlock. So we're gonna pull up Zerg. The exclusive Warlock things. This also had some issues. So for starters, it's kind of location focused. So you have Ultralisk Cavern, deal 1 damage to all enemies, and you can do that 3 times with a cooldown in between them. But then at the end, you get an Ultralisk with Rush, 8/8 Ultralisk. That's great. You have this card Consume, remove 1 durability from a friendly location to restore 8 health to your hero. That's great for Warlock because they do a lot of self damage from their hero power and potentially other cards. And you want to remove durability from Ultralisk Cavern. That's good. But your Spine Crawler wants you to have a location. You don't want to sacrifice your locations. Your Breeding Pool, if you sacrifice it, then you lose out on the Zerglings. So, in like this, Death Rattle is good, but you can play around it. It's fine. You don't need to consume that. You'll notice I did not put Consume in the deck. Also, this is another issue where I ran out of room to do what I wanted to do and had to play Prince Renethral just to have enough room. I just, and maybe I just didn't need to do it this way. I could have probably found something different to do, but I wanted to lean into locations, and I found, well, okay, what locations do I have? I have this Vile Library, which I only own 1. Maybe that would have helped if I had more than 1, but so give a friendly minion +1/+1, repeat for each imp you control. I was like, oh, that's cool. And so then I put in these imps and things that make imps. And the demon strategy is fun. And don't get me wrong, there's fun stuff throughout. Like, the deck was fun to play. I just, I felt like there wasn't a very good, like, it's weird. The Warlock wants to have locations, but then you're rewarded for getting rid of your locations. They have these death rattles as opposed to having repeated value. And then the Spine Crawler is one of the best anti-aggro things out there. If you have a location, it becomes a 4/6 with taunt for 2. That's amazing. But then Warlock generally doesn't want to do that. So, I mean, it's weird. Like, you can play late game Warlock stuff, and I do, and there's Mal'Ganis, and there's Sargeras, and King Ratham, but so much of it just feels like you're being pulled in two different directions that aren't great. I will say that the Spine Crawler, flavor-wise, terrific. I love this. I love this. I just wish that there was... Let me step back. I really, really, really like the whole Warlock Zerg kit. I just felt like I was having a lot of trouble finding something that paired well with it. Because by itself, it's only half a deck. It's 15 cards if you play them all. And Consume is, despite my like, oh, well, you lose out on the Zerg thing, whatever. Sure, if I want to get the Rush now, I can. You get that control. But, like, ramping up the Ultralisk is great. But then you only have four locations, and they go away naturally. So, like, the Consume is also, like, it might just be a dead card if you don't play more locations. And then, I mean, how many of them are actually interesting? I mean, we get... Yeah, we have... Vile Library was cool. Let's see here. Look at the 3 cards in your hand and choose one to discard, draw 2 cards. Maybe could have done a discard strategy, but, like, the Zerg stuff doesn't like that. Choose a friendly minion, summon a giant with its stats and rush. Might have been able to do that. There's a chance I could have done that. Because then I could get, like, another Ultralisk. Maybe I should have leaned into that. I don't know. I don't think I had this card yet. I think might be it. And then, yeah. And we have the Prison of Yogg-Saron because it's fun. But again, that's another one that you don't want to consume that. So, yeah. Moving on. There's a lot more decks to do. Number 9 is Hunter. I had some similar issues. Now, part of this was, I think I just was kind of dumb about it. This was the first one I did, and I think maybe I could have done it a little differently, but when it worked, it was very fun. Admittedly, very, very fun. It does lean well. All of this leans well into what Hunter does, so this is good. So Evolution Chamber, give your minions +1 attack, give your Zerg an extra +1/+1. That's great. That's terrific. Roach, when you draw this, get a copy of it. That's cool if you draw it, a little lame if you don't. Like if you get it through other means. Battle Cry, if you control another Zerg minion, gain +1/+2. So 2 mana, 3/4. Solid. Hydralisk, deal 2 damage for random enemy, repeat for each other Zerg minion you control. This is kind of the big thing that is like appealing. Roach, and I mean really actually all of these, I do like them. Like, I liked these decks. They're fun. I enjoy the StarCraft mini expansion. Like, me kind of trashing on Shaman and Warlock a little bit, those are outliers. I like all of the decks. So this, I did a fun thing with Marsh Queen and trying to play a bunch of stuff. It did struggle a little bit because it's like trying to be really aggro, and so much of Hearthstone can just shit on aggro because like the power creep of the game is actually insane. But so the deck's not good, but it was very fun. And I do think that like the Roach is like, oh, those are fine, they're cute, but like they're not good. Evolution Chamber can be good, but only if you have a lot of Zerg out, and otherwise it's okay. So that's kind of my issue with Hunter, is it doesn't scale well against the power creep that the history of the game has. But don't get me wrong, like the core Zerg tools are strong. Kerrigan is outrageously good. Talking about power creep and how good things are, Kerrigan's broke as shit. But all Zerg gets that, and they're fun. But yeah, so Hunter is fine. Demon Hunter, this was an interesting experience for me because I had played almost no Demon Hunter and did not like it. So Demon Hunter gets a spell, Creep Tumor. Your Zerg minions have +1 attack and rush. Lasts 3 turns. That's actually a long time and does a whole lot. That's pretty cool. You get Lurker. After a friendly minion attacks, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. 2 if the minion is a Zerg. Hey. Mutalisk also damages minions next to whomever this attacks. Hey, that can be really good. If you watch that video, I never got that to pop off because people are not dumb and they go, wow, Mutalisk, I have to kill that. And then they do. But, but that's not necessarily Mutalisk's fault. I kind of decided to try to do like spell demon hunter is like a different thing that I hadn't done before. And I thought that was pretty fun. I kind of put it a little over Hunter, mostly because it, how do I, like it showed me something fun in a class that previously I thought was not fun. Also, this is also another very aggressive deck. Kayn Sunfury is super cool. Charge, all friendly attacks ignore taunt. That's cool. Lady Setheno is like maybe my new favorite Demon Hunter card, which is not a high bar. So immune while attacking. After you cast a spell, attack the lowest health enemy. So like this makes me want to like find ways to pump her a ton and actually build a spell Demon Hunter deck. She's very cool. But yeah, there's just a lot of cheap little spells. There's things about these soul fragments. It's funny, like all of the spell stuff that I decided to do because like Creep Tumor's good and Nidus Worm is good, and then like I would sorry, just trying to think about how to word this. So I don't want to have minions in play in this deck that are not Zerg. As few non-Zerg minions as possible. So because I really want to capitalize on Lurker. So the idea of, well, if I just put the other Demon Hunter cards as being, well, not minions, then that works. That's good. And it did when it worked. It worked a couple of times. But it was kind of a clunky deck. But I think that's more so me not having a ton of Demon Hunter cards and not being super familiar with the class, rather than it being designed poorly or anything. And again, like the flavor of Creep Tumor doing that is really cool. Giving Rush with Creep Tumors. Creep in StarCraft 2 and into StarCraft 1 makes them move faster. Zerg. And so the Creep Tumor is a way to spread creep. And so like I really like that. That gives Rush and makes them a little better. Like as Zerg, you always want to engage in fights on creep. If you're playing against Zerg, you always want to kill creep and engage in fights off creep. So that's good. And then the Mutalisk having the bounces, because this has a bouncing glaive attack that goes from enemy to enemy to enemy. And so like that's really great flavor win. The Lurker is I'll take it. Like it's like, I guess I don't fully see how this is the design for Lurker. Like I kind of get it. Like the spines it's like a sneak attack, because you burrow the Lurker and then they're underground and then you can't see them and they shoot the spines up at stuff. But I don't know. It's hard to design something like that, really. Maybe it should have had stealth and then been like otherwise not as good. I don't know. Or like a way to gain stealth. I don't know. But it's a really good card. If you have Zerg units, it's a really good card. So number 7 then is, where'd you go? I put Warrior. Number 7 is Warrior. So this was all in on playing starships. So the idea here is that Thor does 5 damage to just, you target something and it does 5 damage. But if you've launched a starship, it is Thor explosive payload. Battlecry deal 5 damage, repeat at a random enemy for each starship you've launched this game. So you want to launch tons and tons and tons and tons of starships, and then you play Thor and you get like 6 triggers of that, which oh my god, I'm gonna make an edit to this deck right now. We are gonna find a spot for Bran Bronzebeard. We are gonna cut Needle Rock Totem and add Bran Bronzebeard. There we go. All right, sorry. Because there's a lot of battle cries in this deck, and we want to have them trigger twice. SUV trigger twice, cool. Ghost trigger twice, cool. Yamato cannon trigger twice, terrific. There's actually a lot. Like stone skin armor trigger twice, I'll take that too. There's a lot. So anyways, Yamato cannon, destroy a random enemy minion, also triggers on launch. Ghost, sorry, not that. Concussive shells, deal 2 damage, gain 2 armor. So I did lean a little bit into the armor thing too. This is pretty much a control deck. I'm looking to play control for most of the game, and then the idea of having so many of my minions from the starship pieces basically be able to be played twice and then launch them is really big for being able to incentivize playing a grindier, longer game, and then like Jim Raynor, relaunch them all, refill the board, and then play Slam Thor and just do 1,000,000 damage. It's really fun when you get to play Thor and it does like 5 or 6 triggers. It's crazy. And Jim is great. The starships are great. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun, interesting control deck with a wombo combo finish. All right, next up is Mage Mech Protoss. So this is the first Protoss deck that I'm covering. So you will see that I really liked how Protoss worked out in here. So I did only play 1 shield battery and only 1 warp gate. That was for space constraints, which are fine. The big thing is that Mage for Protoss is caring much more about spells than the other Protoss things. So Protoss, basically, they have things that are expensive, like Colossus costs 12, which is more mana than you can literally have under most circumstances. But then you have things like Photon Cannon, deals 3 damage if this kills a minion. Your Protoss minions cost 1 less this game. Artanis, your Protoss minions cost 2 less this game. So there are various ways to get your Protoss stuff to cost less, so you can get Colossus to be at a castable mana cost. And Colossus does 1 damage to all enemies twice, but every time you cast a Protoss spell, that goes up. So if you've cast 2 Photon Cannons, hey, it does 3 damage to all enemies twice. If you've also cast a Resonance Coil, deal 5 damage to a minion, get a random Protoss spell, then you cast that. Then you're also, hey, 2 more. And so the idea is that you can just like get this up to 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I could get this up to 9 at least. If Resonance Coil gives me another Resonance Coil, I keep going. But 9 once swipe and then 9 a second swipe. So like it was pretty common for me to do like 12 damage to my opponent by playing this as a battle cry. But in order to, that was mostly to finish the game. I have other ways to make it cheaper. This is a mech deck, and mech has a lot of ways to make your mechs cheaper. There's Galvanizer, reduce cost of mechs in your hand by 1. There's actually that might be, oh, here we go. Seafloor Gateway, draw mech, reduce the cost of mechs in your hand by 1. There's yeah, okay. So most of the mech stuff is about just kind of tempo out. So like the idea is that they should probably be dead on like turn 6, and just kind of kill their board and make this big, and then smash face, and then yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've always liked Mech Mage, and then being able to throw Protoss in it just makes it even better. And like the way that all of the tech and the skills and the spell casting is such a Protoss thing. Like it's a very Protoss thing to cast all these spells and have all of these spellcasters and neat, cool abilities and weird techie units. And I feel like Protoss Mage did that very well. It is just weird that like Warpgate is like your next Protoss minion costs 3 less, and it's like, well, there's 4 of them. I can, between 2 warp gates, I can activate this 6 times to play 4 minions. So, you know, that's a little weird. So that's why there's only 1, just to kind of help bridge a gap to maybe get Colossus, or like it works really good with Void Ray. But yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff. It's very fun. I liked this deck a lot. And that's not even like, that's like halfway. So number 5 is Paladin. This is another Terran deck. The Paladin stuff is so this is the unique Paladin unique starship, Ultra Capacitor, which, to be honest, I don't even know what this is in StarCraft. I have no idea what this is supposed to be related to. Not a clue. But it's cool. Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each other friendly minion, also triggers on launch. So I was like, oh, okay, we're going very wide. And then I read Hellion. Your other minions have +1 attack, transforms if you've launched a starship this game. And you have Hellbat. Your other minions have +2 attack and rush. Hellbat is amazing. Any game where I played Hellbat with this, both in the recording and outside of it, I played some more. Any game where I played Hellbat, I won. Just period. Any game I played Hellbat, I won. So yeah, it's really good. Being able to go like, and the other part of the deck, because again, there's only half the deck, is Silver Hand recruits. So like, there's like the Steward, Death Rattle, get the next Silver Hand recruit, you summon +3/+3 this, and this Death Rattle, so it keeps chaining together. There's, where'd they go? There's more. Air Raid, Twin Spell, summon 2 1/1 Silver Hand recruits with Taunt. There's Jury Duty, summon 2 Silver Hand recruits, give your Silver Hand recruits +1/+1. So this is the stuff made by my hero power, and I just kind of go really wide between. Oh yeah, there's Salvage the Bunker is the other card. So summon 2 Marines with Taunt. Your next starship launch costs 2 less. So that also cares about going wide with Ultra Capacitor, and like the Starport is good, and Liftoff is good, and obviously Hellbat, amazing. So, yeah, I played, did I play all the Starship stuff? I played most of the Starship stuff. I only played 1 Arcanite Defense Crystal just to have another Starship. But most of the Starship stuff is in the deck. Just, the approach is a little different compared to Terran. I don't care about making a lot of Starships with this. In fact, I probably just won't have the mana to. It's not a focus. But being able to just go wide and then have Hellbat flipped is important. Again, literally every game I played Hellbat, I've won. The card is so good, and it's so fun. It's amazing. So number 4 is Druid. Ramp Protoss. This is a pretty typical ramp deck for, well, typical-ish. I mean, I don't know what actually typical is. I don't actually play this game much anymore. Pretty typical-ish ramp deck for Druid. The idea of spending your early turns, making it so you can have more mana faster than your opponent, and then dumping it on big dumb stuff. Immortal is really cool. So, Taunt, Divine Shield, Battlecry, spend 4 mana to double this minion's stats. Neat thing, that's a Battlecry, so if you can do it again, say with Brand Bronzebeard, then you can actually, like, double it twice. So then it would be, so it would be a 10-16, then it would be a 20-32 with Divine Shield and Taunt, which is pretty sick. You need a lot of mana for it. That's where Ysera, Emerald Aspect, comes in. That's where also the cost reduction stuff comes in. Which, I mean, maybe I could have done... whatever. No, this is fine. This is fine. I was going to say, like, mech stuff, but I don't need to. We can just ramp. So, yeah. We have lots of ramp. Lots of ramp. And then we're just trying to go big. I mean, like, the idea is ramp and then slam an Immortal or a Carrier. It doesn't matter which one. Just do it. Emperor Tharson helps a lot. I mean, you can see a lot of that stuff in the video. This is the most straightforward, just have a thing, do the thing deck of all of these, and it's done so well in a way that I feel like mostly is very lore accurate and flavorful. And but for Hearthstone also fits the class very well. So like, again, I mean, Druid is like the ramp class, and this is a great way to do it. I mean, ramping to carriers is so great, and I really like how they did carriers with the summoning the interceptors, and It's so fun and so good. Immortal, I mean, like, they hit like a bus. I mean, Taunt Divine Shield does kind of cover their, like, damage reduction thing they do. I wish it had a thing where, like, is a 5/8, you know, maybe like, it would have been cool if they had a thing where maybe instead of spending 4 mana to double this minion stats, maybe it takes a maximum of 3 damage at a time. Then, you know, they're guaranteed to have to hit it with 3 things. I don't know. Oh my god, the flavor text. Hi, mortal. I'm dad. I missed that before. Yeah. Hi, mortal. I'm dad. We must, you know, construct additional pylons. You must construct additional pylons. That's funny. And of course, the construct pylons is such an iconic thing. Obviously, I mean, it's so iconic they didn't even have to finish the line. And I'm guessing if you're watching this and you've never played StarCraft in your life, you know that line. You still know you must construct additional pylons. You know it. Thanks, Cards Against Humanity. And the internet. All right, number 3 is Priest. So this is the last one I did. This was the last video. Yes, that's correct. This is the last video. So this is Death Rattle Priest is what I did. It didn't really have to be, is what I've kind of decided at the end there. If you watched the video, you already knew that. But so this is another Protoss deck. And so the idea here is that Mothership is absurd. So 10/10 Taunt, Battlecry, Death Rattle, get 2 random Protoss minions. I went over this all extensively at the end of that last video. I'm not going to go over it so extensively this time. But, I mean, we've looked at most of the Protoss minions. They're all very good. So, that's, like, and then you can hallucination, summon a copy of a friendly Protoss minion that takes double damage. So being able to go, you know, let's say you have Warp Gate out and your sentries have died, so your Protoss minions cost 2 less already, and you killed something with a photon cannon, so maybe it's 3 less, so 6 less overall with the Warp Gate. So then you play like a 6 mana Mothership, and then you play hallucination on it for the 7th mana, and you make a copy. And I mean, it's really, really impressive how much, like, you can watch those games in that video. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to win this game. This is kind of rough. I'm not really doing it. Oh, I'm way ahead, and I'm destroying them, and I won. Like, that was how it worked. Like, there was even a game against actually, you know what? We're going to move on. There was a game against the next deck on the ranking. Against Death Rattle Zerg. Someone else playing this deck, or at least a version of it. And they had an outrageous start. I had no business winning that game. Their start was so good. And I managed to get a Mothership out and absorb their board, and then resurrect the Mothership and absorb their board, and then resurrect the Mothership and then absorb their board. And then I had gained like 6 or 8 extra Protoss minions in my hand, and they were all haymakers, and I went like Colossus, swipe, swipe, Colossus, swipe, swipe, Colossus, swipe, swipe, carrier. And like, it was dumb. And that was so fun. And anytime you don't draw a Mothership, you're just waiting to die. But dang, it was so, I was really happy with that game that I won that game. I felt like I played the right outs, and I was rewarded for it. But so Death Rattle Zerg, this deck is dumb. I will say I'm ranking this number 2. These rankings are not based on like what is quote unquote best. This is probably the best deck that you can do with the Hearthstone stuff. I mean, not this exact list. I mean, this is suboptimal. but this idea. You have Infestor. Oh my god. So Death Rattle, your Zerg minions have +1/+1. This is in your hand. This is in the deck. This is in play. This is stuff that wasn't in your deck and then you got from Larva, or you made more Zerglings, or you whatever. Have +1/+1 for the rest of the game. They just have it. That's a Death Rattle. So you're like, oh, you play the Infestor, it dies, you get it once. Once. So you can play like Yelling Yodeler, trigger friendly minions Death Rattle twice. Or you can play Brittlebone Buccaneer. Whenever you play a Death Rattle minion, give it Reborn, so it'll die, and then it'll come back with 1 health, and then it'll die, and then you'll get it twice. You can play Death Bear or Baron Rivendare. There he is. Your minions trigger their Death Rattles twice. You can play Carnivorous Cube, destroy a friendly minion, Death Rattle, summon 2 copies of it, so you'll kill it, then you'll get 2 more, and then you'll kill those. You can play you can Enzoth and summon your Death Rattle minions that died this game and get them back and do it again. You can where is it? I lost it. You can Death Growl, choose a minion, spread its Death Rattle to adjacent minions. So you can go, I have this Infestor here, and it is next to a Queen, and it is next to, I don't know, like a Zergling. Literally anything. And then you go, those also have Death Rattle. Give your Zerg stuff +1/+1 for the rest of the game. And so, like, it is not difficult at all to give your whole Zerg board, like, +7/+7 for the whole game, and then you play a Zergling and you get 2 8/8s for 1 mana. This thing is crazy. This thing is incredibly strong, and if I decided I wanted to like actually care and grind the ranked stuff, this is what I would be playing. And also, it is so Zerg. And it is so Death Knight. This is a huge flavor win on both fronts. The Infestor being able to be a support unit that does a bunch of cool stuff. That is a huge flavor win. I mean, how exactly they're getting the Death Rattle out of it, it doesn't matter. This is a support spellcaster unit, and it is doing support spellcasting. The Baneling Barrage. So Death Rattle, deal damage to this minion's attack to all enemy minions. But hey, as mentioned, you have pumped them a ton of times. So now, instead of being a 1/1, this is like, let's say, even just a 4/4. Pumped it 3 times. Now this dies, it does 4 damage to the whole board. Guess what? You got 2 of them when you played this. There's the Viper. Summon a minion from your opponent's hand. Your other Zerg minions gain Reborn and attack it. Guess what? This synergizes with Infestor. And you also get to like hose hose strategies. You can go like, they have this big battle cry that they're probably holding on to. I will just yoink it into play. They don't get the battle cry. They kill their guy. I have pumped my whole board probably 2-3 times, and also I got a 5/3. It's so good. It's so good. It's a lot of fun. Huge fan of everything about it. It's amazing. This is going to be my go-to Death Knight deck for forever. I think actually forever. I will never, if I'm playing Death Knight, I'm playing this. Forever and ever and ever. It's so great. And this is number 2. Because number one is gambling. Number 1 is a drug. Process of elimination, you should know what it is. This is Rogue. So this is a Protoss deck. So notice that in the top 4, 3 of them are Protoss. This deck does one thing. This deck does one thing only. This is a one-trick pony, but dang, it's a fun trick. I don't think the trick is quite as good as the Infestor trick, but this is a fun trick. Dark Templar. Stealth. Battlecry. Destroy an enemy minion. All right, it's a what is this? A 5/3. Yep, 5/3 with stealth. Destroy a minion. And I mean, it says cost 6, but you know you're making them cheaper. That's pretty good. High Templar, Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all enemies. This is a 3/5. Again, you're making it cheaper. That's not bad. That's not bad. What does this mean when it says play another Templar to merge into an Archon? Oh, so if you play a Dark Templar, or if you have a Dark Templar in play, and you play either another Dark Templar or a High Templar, then you get this. In Archon, it's an 8/8. At the end of your turn, deal 8 damage to the enemy hero and 2 damage to all of their minions. It's pretty amazing. And then you can do things like play Brand Bronzebeard and have Battlecry, deal 4 damage to their enemies, to all enemies, and then get an Archon. You can have Shadowcaster, choose a friendly minion, add a 1/1 copy of your hand that costs 1. So you can play High Templar and then Shadowcaster and have another one in your hand, and then you have the other Templar you need. There's other battle cries too that are good. I mean, Flick Skyshiv is good. Geppetto Joybuzz is, you might look at this and go, that's not that great. I mean, like, it's okay. But actually, what are the minions in this deck? Geppetto Joybuzz, draw 2 minions from your deck, set their attack and health cost, and all of it to 1. So they're 1/1s for 1. Minions on the deck. Bran, combo piece, terrific. Void Ray. If it's a 1/1 and you actually then make it cost 0 very, very easily, that is still a 3/3 with Rush, Divine Shield. That's not bad for 1 mana. Or for 0 mana, actually. And you draw them. It's good. You have Shadowcaster, another combo piece, potentially. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have 2 Dark Templars, 2 High Templars, and we have Flick Skyshiv. So about half of your minions are Templars. And there's a decent chance, due to the way you would do mulligans and you would care about things and potentially try to draw and do stuff, that more than half of them remaining in the deck are going to be Templars. So Geppetto Joybuzz can just easily draw your Archon. And it doesn't matter that they were 1/1s, because now they're an 8/8. There is so many fun things about this. I've played a lot of Rogue, a pretty good amount. I've played a lot of Combo Rogue. I've played a lot of Miracle Rogue. I've played a lot of Rogue things, trying to get stuff to line up in a certain way and just going for it. And this is the most fun I've ever had doing that, and that is saying something. I really, 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 really like this. There's a lot of room for some improvement, I'm sure. Like, realistically, I mean, I do like Geppetto, but that is kind of like I just needed something else. Like Cheat Death. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Cheat Death. When a friendly minion dies, return to your hand, it costs 2 less. There's not many minions as established. So how often do I go like, all right, we're gonna play Dark Templar, kill your guy, and then Cheat Death, and then we're gonna attack. And then, hey, you're going to kill my stealth dude. Hey, I'm going to get him back, and then I'm going to kill your guy, and then I'm going to play High Templar. Like, there's so many ways. Draw a Protoss minion combo, costs 2 less. Like, there's so many ways to just very consistently get Archon out and then just start wiping their board and doing all of this stuff. It's so fun. This is some of the most fun I've ever had playing Hearthstone. It is such a great deck, and I love it. I love it. This made me love Hearthstone again. This deck made me love Hearthstone again. And then I played Arena, and I remembered why I hate Hearthstone. God. Like I said, it's like gambling and like a drug. But yeah, I think the StarCraft, this isn't what I wanted. The StarCraft mini expansion. Mini sets? This is where it's going to be? Yes, the StarCraft mini expansion is everything it needed to be. I think that it's so fun. Oh yeah, there's Grunty. Someone forward and shoot them. Whatever. So Maybe this should have been in the shaman deck. This probably should have been in the shaman deck. So the sorry, I missed that I forgot he's in there. Grunty is in this. Look at that Grunty. That's great. So oh, I could have done Murloc Shaman. Maybe I messed up. The point is, it is everything it needed to be. It is so fun. It is just a blast exploring all of these different classes, doing all this stuff. I had a great time. It is so worth the money, and I hope that we get more stuff like this. I hope we get a Diablo set. I hope we get an Overwatch set. I hope that we get just little tinier sets for like, hey, here's some stuff for the Lost Vikings, or here's, you know, whatever. It's really fun. I hope that maybe they can do like a mini expansion, like a mini set for Hearthstone, or sorry, for StarCraft, to add like more units and do more things. Like God, I don't even know. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't even know what I would want them to do. I mean, because they did such a great job with this. It reinvigorated my interest in this game. It's done so well. It's, yeah. Buy it. Golden. Oh, you can get a diamond Grunty. Don't buy this. I said buy it. Don't do this. If you do this, you're dumb. And if that offended you, I'm not sorry. Don't buy this. But this for like, what was it, like $20, I think? I think this was $20. Might have been 30, but I think this is $20 for all of these. This has felt very worth it. There's also like all sorts of hero skins from it. I don't even know how to find them. Are these temporary? They might be gone. They might be gone. I don't know. What is this? Oh, this is actually cool. Well, it could have been cooler. I didn't know that they looked like that. I didn't know about this, though. Oh, you only get the 3 cards. Never mind. Oh my God. Alright, if you're gonna buy the golden one, buy it, I guess. Don't buy this. This is $25 to get 2 of this, 2 of this, 2 of this. That is so not worth it. Oh my God. I know I shouldn't judge other people's wallets, but yeah, this is dragged on. I apologize. The rankings from the top are Shaman, Warlock, Hunter at 9, Demon Hunter at 8, Warrior at 7, Mage at 6, Paladin at 5, Druid at 4, Priest at 3, Death Knight at 2, and Rogue at 1. And again, I'm gonna keep playing some of these. I am gonna scrap this right now. I think that I need to go back to the drawing board on Shaman. But yeah, it's been so fun. And with that, I'm gonna stop saying that over and over. This is what happens when I don't have a script and I'm just talking. It's not good. It's not good. In the next video, I should have a script and I'll be back to my normal content. So, thank you for watching. You have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.